brand new exclusive survey of voters from inside California politics and Emerson College sheds new light on the race to be California's next governor. That poll is the first statewide survey asking voters who they'll support now that former Vice President Kamala Harris announced she is not running for California governor. Thanks for sticking with us for Fox 40 News at 4:30. I'm Riley Carroll. The poll also asking Californians if they back statewide mid-decade redistricting efforts. Fox 40 Capitol reporter Eitan Wallace breaks down those results.
Just over 1 week since former Vice President Kamala Harris announced she will not run for California governor, a new exclusive poll from Emerson College and Inside California Politics shows who Californians are leaning toward in the crowded race. Leading the pack, Democrat former Orange County Congressmember Katie Porter with 18%. Behind her, author and former Fox News personality, Republican Steve Hilton with 12%. And coming in the top three, Riverside County Sheriff Republican Chad Bianco with 7%. Matt Taglia helped conduct the poll.
We're not surprised to see Porter in the lead with Harris out of the race. We tested this a couple different ways previously, and we found that with Harris out, Katie Porter would be in the lead.
In August, this is really about whose name do you recognize. Then I think Katie Porter does have, as we see, the advantage.
Rounding out the top five, each with 5% or less, former Los Angeles Mayor, Democrat Antonio Villaraigosa. And for the first time, voters were asked whether they'd support businessman and former LA mayoral candidate Rick Caruso should he decide to run for governor. In this survey, he received 4% support, something Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson says is noteworthy.
When somebody has yet to declare and they're in the top five, they have to feel pretty good about those numbers.
She notes the survey also shows 38% of Californians are undecided.
That is a huge percentage, but it is not entirely surprising, given, again, we're having this conversation August of 2025, but also think about where many Californians are. We're focused on D.C., not as much on a race that isn't happening today or tomorrow in terms of who will be the next leader of California.
On Governor Gavin Newsom's plan to redraw California's congressional districts, a move Newsom has said he'll advance to help Democrats pick up U.S. House seats statewide in the 2026 midterm election if Texas Republicans move forward with President Donald Trump's plan to redraw congressional districts in the Lone Star State to pick up 5 GOP U.S. House seats there. This is where Californians stand. A third support Newsom's plan, a quarter are opposed, and 42% unsure.
What we see with that 42% undecided is that there's complexity, there's a lot of unknowns, and there isn't a specific proposal that people are saying thumbs up or thumbs down.
In the 2028 race for president, among hypothetical candidates in the California Democratic primary, as of today, Gavin Newsom would receive the most support, followed by former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and former Vice President Kamala Harris. It comes as Newsom's approval rating statewide, according to this survey, has shot up to 44%, an 11% increase since April.
It's a pretty stark contrast to April.
He has done a good job of making himself part of the nationwide conversation. He's also done a good job of positioning himself as really the head of the resistance to the Trump administration. And there are a lot of people in California who like that.
And the poll found among hypothetical Republican presidential candidates in the 2028 California primary, Vice President J.D. Vance would come out on top with 40% GOP support. At the state capitol, covering local news that matters, Eitan Wallace, Fox 40 News.